Through that celestial forest, whose thick shade with lively greenness the new springing day attempered, eager now to roam, and search its limits round, forthwith I left the bank, along the champan leisurely my way pursuing, o'er the ground, that on all sides delicious odor breathed. A pleasant air, that intermitted never veered, smote on my temples, gently, as a wind of softest influence, at which the sprays, obedient all, leaned trembling to that part where first the holy mountain casts his shade, yet were not so disordered, but that still upon their top the feathered choristers applied their wonted art, and with full joy welcomed those hours of prime, and warbled shrill amid the leaves, that to their jocund lays inept tenor, even as from branch to branch, along the piney forests on the shore of Chiasse, rolls the gathering melody, when Aeolus hath from his cavern loosed the dripping south. Already had my steps, though slow, so far into that ancient wood transported me, I could not ken the place where I had entered, when behold, my path was bounded by a rill, which to the left with little rippling waters bent the grass, that issued from its brink. On earth no wave how clean soe'er, that would not seem to have some mixture in itself, compared with this, transpicuous, clear, yet darkly on it rolled, darkly beneath perpetual gloom, which ne'er admits her sun or moonlight there to shine. My feet advanced not, but my wondering eyes passed onward, o'er the streamlet, to survey the tender May bloom, flushed through many a hue, in prodigal variety, and there, as object, rising suddenly to view, that from our bosom every thought beside with the rare marvel chases, I beheld a lady all alone, who, singing, went, and culling flower from flower, wherewith her way was all o'erpainted. Lady beautiful! Thou, who, if looks, that used to speak the heart, are worthy of our trust, with love's own beam dost warm thee, thus to her my speech I framed, please thee hither towards the streamlet bend thy steps so near, that I may list thy song. Beholding thee in this fair place, methinks, I call to mind where wandered and how looked Proserpine, in that season, when her child the mother lost, and she the bloomy spring. As when a lady, turning in the dance, doth foot it featly, and advances scarce one step before the other to the ground, over the yellow and vermilion flowers thus turned she at my suit, most maidenlike, veiling her sober eyes, and came so near, that I distinctly caught the dulcet sound. Arriving where the limped waters now laved the green sward, her eyes she deigned to raise, that shot such splendor on me, as I ween ne'er glanced from Cytherea's, when her son had sped his keenest weapon to her heart. Upon the opposite bank she stood and smiled through her graceful fingers shifted still the intermingling dyes, which without seed that lofty land unbosoms. By the stream 3 paces only were we sundered, yet the Hellespont, where Xerxes passed it o'er, a curb forever to the pride of man, was by Leander not more hateful held for floating, with inhospitable wave twixt Cestus and Abydos, than by me that flood, because it gave no passage thence. Strangers ye come, and haply in this place, that cradled human nature in its birth, wondering, ye not without suspicion view my smiles, but that sweet strain of psalmody, thou, Lord, hast made me glad, will give ye light, which may uncloud your minds. And thou, who standst the foremost, and didst make thy suit to me, say if aught else thou wish to hear, for I came prompt to answer every doubt of thine. She spake, and I replied, I know not how to reconcile this wave and rustling sound of forest leaves, with what I late have heard of opposite report. She answering thus, I will unfold the cause, whence that proceeds, which makes thee wonder, and so purge the cloud that hath enwrapped thee. The first good, whose joy is only in himself, created man for happiness, and gave this goodly place, his pledge and earnest of eternal peace. Favored thus highly, through his own defect he fell, and here made short sojourn, he fell, and, for the bitterness of sorrow, chimed laughter unblammed in ever new delight. That vapors none, exhaled from earth beneath, or from the waters, which, wherever heat attracts them, follow, might ascend thus far to vex man's peaceful state, this mountain rose so high toward the heaven, nor fears the rage of elements contending, from that part exempted, where the gate his limit bars. Because the circumambient air throughout with its first impulse circles still, unless aught interpose to cheek or thwart its course, upon the summit, which on every side to visitation of impassive air is open, doth that motion strike, and makes beneath its sway umbrageous would resound, and in the shaken plant such power resides, that it impregnates with its efficacy the voyaging breeze, upon whose subtle plume that wafted flies abroad, and other land receiving, as is worthy in itself, or in the clime, that warms it, doth conceive, and from its womb produces many a tree of various virtue. This when thou hast heard, the marvel ceases, if in yonder earth some plant without apparent seed be found to fix its fibrous stem. And further learn, that with prolific foison of all seeds, this holy plain is filled, and in itself bears fruit that ne'er was plucked on other soil. The water, thou beholdst, springs not from vein, as stream, that intermittently repairs and spends his pulse of life, but issues forth from fountain, solid, undecaying, sure, and by the will omnific, full supply feeds whatsoever on either side it pours, on this devolved with power to take away remembrance of offense, on that to bring remembrance back of every good deed done. From whence its name of Lethe on this part, on th other you know, both of which must first be tasted ere at work, the last exceeding all flavors else. Albeit thy thirst may now be well contented, if I here break off, no more revealing, yet a corollary I freely give beside, nor deem my words less grateful to thee, if they somewhat pass the stretch of promise. They, whose verse of yore the golden age recorded and its bliss, on the Parnassian mountain, of this place perhaps had dreamed. Here was man guiltless, here perpetual spring and every fruit, and this the far-famed nectar. Turning to the bards, when she had ceased, I noted in their looks his smile at her conclusion, then my face again directed to the lovely dame.